You may recognize this beautiful young lady and her daughter Angelina from the news. Because we're celebrating the holiday season, it's Hanukkah, Christmas is in 2 days, it's Kwanzaa, Festivus if you're a Seinfeld fan. We wanted to do a nice show, one of hope. And this story here that you'll hear tonight is certainly one of hope. Let me show you some footage of Angelina from when she was born, July 25th, 2017. She was actually born about 2.5 years after her father died very tragically at Christmas time. There she is on her first birthday. She's with her grandfather, Mr. Liu, and her grandmother. And she's brought so much joy into their life because they lost their only son. And this is Angelina just last Friday. It was the 5th anniversary of losing Wenjian Liu, your husband, Detective Liu, and his partner, Rafael Ramos. And there was a very special mass that was held in Brooklyn, Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. I want to play the piece from that day, just a few days ago, to give you a little sense of the backstory of the Lius. Even 5 years later, the NYPD treats Wenjian Liu and Rafael Ramos with reverence.
It was a turning point, I think, in the city. We changed the way we police after that, and we do it in memory of Wenjian and Rafael.
Liu and Ramos were finishing their shift on a corner in Bed-Stuy when a deranged man from Baltimore took a bus here and shot them. The assassinations came in the wake of protests.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
Spawned by police-involved civilian deaths.
It was the darkest day of my life. I thought my life was over.
Pei Xia Liu was married less than 3 months to Wenjian, a Chinese immigrant. She said Wenjian came to her in a dream that night, handing her a baby girl. 2.5 years later, Pei Xia gave birth to Angelina thanks to in vitro fertilization. She will be 3 in July. Rafael Ramos graduated with top honors from the NYPD Academy when he was 37 years old. He left behind 2 sons, Justin and Jaden, and his widow Maritza. Our new police commissioner remembered the huge turnout at both funerals, which were held a week apart.
It really galvanized, I think, in many ways, not just New York City, but the nation. It was a terrible incident, and hopefully 5 years later, one of the good things is that we have moved far from that. Really should be a time to reflect on healing, what we can do together.
The widows of Ramos and Liu have a special bond, and the turnout was strong from the partners' 84th precinct. It is just days before Christmas, and there is hope in the eyes of Ramos and Liu's children.
Wenjian and Rafael live on today in the work that NYPD cops do every day on the street.
It was a really beautiful mass, and it was a privilege to be there. But Angelina is part of the reason we're here tonight. She gives all of us hope. At Christmas, she's got her beautiful holiday dress on. I want you to tell us about the dream you had on really the worst night of your life. But you had a dream.
Yeah. The night my husband was killed.
The night he was killed.
The night was killed, so I had a dream. So I had a dream, the same night I had a dream. And I saw, and my husband came into my dream with a white gown, a white robe.
He was wearing a white robe. Wenjian was.
Wenjian was wearing a white robe. So, and he was holding a baby in his hand.
Oh, God bless you. He was holding a baby.
Yeah, he was holding a baby. He said, I heard a baby crying. I was wondering where the baby crying came from.
A baby was crying.
Yes, and my husband Wenjian said, "Here's the baby girl for you."
Here's a baby girl for you.
And he handed over me a baby girl.
He handed you the baby girl.
Yes, I never forget that dream. So.
And did you believe then that you would have a child by Wenjian? Did you believe that you would have his baby?
Yeah, because at the same night he got killed in the hospital.
Yes.
So, because we have been dating 7 years. So
you were dating 7 years.
Yeah, we've been dating 7 years. We just got married. And we always talking about to have a family, to raise a family together. So the night when he got killed, the only thing was in the hospital.
Yes.
But the only thing was in my mind when I was in the hospital, I was thinking, I know what he wants. We are so close to each other. He like my soulmate. So.
He was your soulmate.
So I asked the doctor.
You asked the doctor about it?
Yeah, I asked the doctor, said, is it possible to collect his sperm?
Yes.
And the answer was yes.
The doctor said yes.
And they collect the sperms. I never forget that, the dreams of, I can't say, and the same night I went back home, so I had the dreams. I always constantly think about it. So
You thought about being able to maybe have the baby by in vitro. Before we go on, I want to introduce retired Chief Joseph Fox. He's a member of the foundation that you set up in your husband's name. We have a logo that shows, it's a beautiful logo. It's the Wenjian Liu Foundation, and you're going to train therapy dogs. There it is. And there's a heart over a dog. It's a beautiful symbol. And why is it that you wanted to train dogs to help families in trauma?
Shortly after the death of my husband, so I adopted a dog. Shortly after
He passed away.
I adopted a dog. I named him Liu in memory of my husband.
Which we're going to show in the next piece. I want the viewers to know how he came to meet you. Right before Angelina's first birthday, we have the present for Angelina. She's going to open it while we show you this piece of how we met last year, 2018, right before Angelina turned 1 year old. Baba in Chinese means father.
Say dada.
And Angelina Liu's first word in English was daddy.
And you do bye-bye? Do bye-bye. Do bye-bye.
She was born more than 2.5 years after her police officer dad was killed on the job, thanks to a miracle of science. Gotcha. Pei Xia waited nearly 2 years to undergo in vitro fertilization, which required painful shots and the extraction of her eggs to be fertilized in a lab dish.
Very tough.
Did it work the first time?
Thank God. It worked for me the first time. I believe my husband watched after me. I was so thankful that it works the first time.
Pei Xia didn't tell Wenjian's parents until a month before the birth, and they rejoiced when Angelina was born on July 25th, 2017. So did the baby's Big Blue family from the 84th Precinct.
We look at her as an extension of Wenjian, so this really brought joy to so many people.
The young widow moved to a new home and takes Angelina to visit Wenjian's parents twice a week.
She also gives emotional support to my in-laws.
But it takes a village to raise a child, and next-door neighbor Josephine is always ready with Italian food and life lessons.
We're teaching her English. Her mother's teaching her Cantonese and Mandarin, and she'll be trilingual.
Pei Xia also has a dog who's been her friend and protector since Wenjian's death.
I named my dog Liu.
Liu?
Liu. He's like my son to me.
And she made a recent decision to baptize her baby a Catholic.
I have no religions before.
And now you do?
I do. Because now, these miracle babies, I believe in God now. And I want to have faith in her life. I want her to believe that her father's there and watching her from heaven.
A very beautiful story. When we first met you, Angelina was about to turn 1. We have people writing. A lot of people are watching tonight. Raina Dietrich is writing, God bless you both, and he's watching over you and his baby girl. Elvin Sanchez, I believe he said that he worked with your husband, Detective Liu, and also Detective Ramos.
Yes,
this is moving for you, right?
Yes.
And Ryan Rodriguez, God bless you. She looks just like her daddy. He's with you always, and look, you can see that. I mean, we always talk about how remarkable it is. We say she's like a clone, right? And I remember you talked to me about the Social Security benefits. Did that work out? You were trying to get benefits for Angelina?
Yeah, we're having a hearing next month. So
you have a hearing next month. There was someone who wrote to me asking if that had any results. Other people are writing and they're putting smiley faces or they feel badly about this. But there's so much love that came out of tragedy. And I know you say that the department has embraced you, the community has embraced you. And I want to show Angelina's first birthday. It's really a sweet story, and let's play that from 2018. Grandpa! Thank you. Angelina Liu brings the light into her grandfather's eyes, and the same is true of Grandma.
Happy birthday, okay?
We joined the celebration as Angelina turned 1 after a birth last July 25th that was a miracle of science.
She has turned our life around, and She's our everything to us.
Angelina was standing on her tiptoes then, getting ready to walk. At her party, she was being snuggled by many proud Chinese Americans from the Brooklyn Enfant Association, wearing a rainbow skirt and birthday shirt with the number 1 in pink and a princess crown in gold. I thank everyone for continuing to watch over my granddaughter, said Weitang Liu, Wenjian's father. My granddaughter has made us very happy. The Enfant Association here in Brooklyn always has a monthly meeting, and this year it happened to fall on July 25th. And when the president invited Mrs. Liu, she said, "Oh, that's my granddaughter's birthday."
This is some of the gifts that we like to have.
And there won't be any shortage of pictures from Angelina's special day.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
A song full of wishes for a baby girl just starting her journey. A song of hope for her grandparents and mom, who love her with every fiber of their beings. I'm Mary Murphy, PIX11 News.
Are you one?
Yay! She's over 2 years old now, Angelina. She's growing so fast. And we have more comments from our viewers. Enzo Titanico, what a cute baby. If that ain't the face of New York, I don't know what is, right? She is one of the many faces of New York, and she makes us happy just watching her thrive and develop. Chief Fox, tell us why you got involved in the foundation and how you met Pei Xia.
Well, this tragedy is one of those events that, like September 11th, everyone knows exactly where they were and what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And I was actually in a Christmas celebration in a show in Manhattan and ran to the hospital and saw Sandy and the rest of the families and Rafael's family. And I've learned, I've had a number of line of duty deaths in my 38-year career.
Yes.
7 in Brooklyn South when I was the CO there. And what I've learned is that, we show up for the funerals and the wakes and we're there for the families, but what really happens is what happens in the years since then. And I've considered it an honor and a privilege to be involved in Sandy's life in these years since then, in these 5 years. I mean, that was another 9/11 for our city. But the biggest story in 9/11 than the tragedy is what happened since. And I think the biggest story since this tragedy is what Sandy and Maritza and our families have done.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was shopping with my son. He had just come home the night before from college. And I said, I have to go into work. We don't have these kinds of events too often, and 2 officers at the same time were lost to us.
The pain in that hospital, I remember seeing some community leaders and elected officials there, and the look in their faces was one of horror. I don't think anybody, too few people, thought that it would get to what it got to.
There was a lot of tension in the city at that time. Yeah. There were people having protests, over police-involved civilian deaths, and it just percolated, and this was the result.
Yeah, and it showed that words matter, and hate matters, and rhetoric matters, and we have to be careful what we say and what we do because it has effect on people, and now I'm just so honored to watch this lady and this adorable young lady do what they've done since, and it's just amazing.
And the first dinner was held for the Wenjian Liu Foundation, and we'll show the logo again. And what a turnout! I mean, it was packed, and also I never saw so many pipers outside of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I was so impressed with how many bagpipers came from the Emerald Society, pipes and drums. You must have felt so good with how many people showed up. Yeah.
It was an amazing turnout. I didn't expect that. I'm so grateful that so many people came to the event and support us.
Right. And now you've had the first event. I'm sure you will have future dinners. What do you think you would like to do with the training dogs? I know you said with the Sillers Foundation that evolved after 9/11, it started maybe a little small and now it's really grown. You may see something like that happening here.
I expect so, and You know, I may be the retired chief, but she's the boss.
She's the boss.
and that's exactly. I mean, this has great potential. I mean, it's in the beginning phases now, and it's got a great start with great momentum. And this is designed for families of soldiers who have died or suffered traumatic injuries, police officers, firefighters, and like the Silla Foundation, you know, it began for firefighters, and there they were, to help
The Silla
out Sandy.
Foundation just helped the family in Jersey City, the detective that was killed
Yeah.
in that domestic terror shooting. So their mortgage will be paid.
You know, this in the funerals in December, city leaders said that we'll never forget and we'll be there.
Yes.
Everyone who was there that night, and everyone who contributed, and everyone who's watching tonight, and you, this event tonight, we're fulfilling that promise.